All right, y'all. So it is time. Finally, it's much overdue that I'm recording a podcast on ad creation. And I bring this up because Hattie is somebody that I've personally worked with. I think she's really amazing with creative and funnels. And so we're going to have a real open, honest conversation about running ads for the first time, right? So if you're somebody that's been thinking about running ads, wondering what to prepare in your business to make sure you're ready to succeed, then this is a perfect episode for you. So Hattie, I'm going to let you kind of, start us off, but when we're looking at, or when you're maybe getting a new client inquiry, right? What are you looking at first and foremost for when somebody might be ready to run ads?
That's a great question. I always ask them to pull up their dashboard or their analytics on their website, and I'm looking for their conversion rate. I'm looking at whether their freebie or their lead magnet is converting at 40% or higher. So this means for every 100 people that visit that landing page, that opt-in form, that freebie, I want at least 40 people putting in their email address instead of just bouncing. So a lot of the time I get people coming and they're like, oh, I only have, 10 people out of 100 that are opting in. I'm like, okay, well, we need to fix that landing page then before I even waste money, pumping traffic. So we always look at your conversion rate. And then if that's 40%, let's look at your email funnel after that.
So starting with the lead magnet, because that's so important for a lot of my beginner coaches. Now, when I say beginner coach, just for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to be talking about people that are either right at the 6-figure mark or under that. So 5 to 10K spot is kind of who I'm talking to. So lead magnets, conversion, right? I think it's really simple for coaches to create a really not so great template, throw it out there, hope it sticks, and then they never look at the email sequence again, or they don't have an email sequence, right? And so when you're talking about creating something that converts, you're not only talking about opt-ins, but you said redoing the landing page. So I kind of want to break down each element that we talk about when it's like, what should you look at for ads? So starting with that, what are you noticing is helping with conversions for lead magnets?
That's a great question. So especially for landing pages specifically, little tweaks. Everyone's opting in on their mobile phones. So even if they have to place their thumb and scroll down to put their email address in or to put in their name, you've lost them. We've got like 3 seconds. So no more scrolls. We want that button to click download the freebie to be right where the thumb is. So if you've put too much text or your font is too big in the mobile landing page, you've already lost them. So you really want to make sure that everything is just on the phone display to hook them quicker, just with that thumbprint. So that's really important. And then grabbing their attention really quick with the hook, with the, like, what's the outcome, not putting the title of your download, but what's the outcome they're going to get, just to remind them again, why am I giving my email address over? So those are 2 really important things that we tweak usually for the landing page.
And that's something that I've noticed even in things that I've been tweaking with just various landing pages, because, it's easy to just put something template, something guide, download now, right? And it's why. So I think when you're looking at kind of that statement, instead of thinking about a lifetime value, I always push relevancy in my content, right? So, for example, I'm just thinking business right now, not fitness, but, $100,000 made in 9 weeks using these sales scripts, right? Oh, wow. Not 3 million in my entire business made with these sales scripts, because that seems more relatable. And then it's like, download now, right?
Yes. And you want it to be not too, whatever your freebie is or your lead magnet, you don't want it to be too overwhelming where they're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to implement this? But you need to just answer one short thing that they're going to remember. Oh, she really helped me with just that one thing. I wonder what her paid offer. And then you're going to have this beautiful email sequence that's going to take them into your paid offer. So it's really important. Sometimes people are like, oh my God, I just stuffed a 50-page freebie and they're going to download it and love this. I gave them 50 pages free. And I'm just like, they're not going to love it. They're not going to read it. They're going to hate it. So yeah, really, it's a fine line. It's a lot of tweaking. And sometimes people throw out baby with the bathwater. And I'm like, no, just tweak it a little bit. You don't have to rewrite everything if it's not working. If you have a 10% conversion rate, there's things we can do to tweak it to make it a 40%.
And, you're talking about email sequences. And I think that's something that I know my clients get hung up on, right? Is because I obviously have a background in copy, right? And so for me, I can really take some copy and work with it. But ultimately with ads, and I know we'll get into data later, but you have to be willing to tweak things all the time, right? I know you want to say something on that. Like
all the time, especially if, like, for me, even like I'm running AI funnels all the time right now. It is changing like daily. So I'm changing my subject lines, I'm changing the content inside, I'm changing the videos out. And yeah, you just have to pay attention. Some people are like, oh, I haven't looked at my email sequence in 2 years. I'm like, but you've had a baby since then. You've changed businesses, like and they just haven't looked at it. And I'm like,
not the
so
baby.
much change.
No, but that's kind of my point is you can't forget the time frame. When you do an email sequence, there is no one way. I've been taught emails 3 different ways and none of it was wrong, but you have to just see what sticks and be prepared to change email 3 or 5, 6 or 7 times, because it's really not the content. It's the subject line and the first 2 or 3 sentences. And we're looking at click rate and open rate, right? Obviously that's what we need. And so you can have the most beautiful email with all the storytelling, but it's not going to matter if you spent a month getting it together, but another 2 years fixing it, right? Like, and that's the thing with ads is you have to be willing to really analyze data and make fast changes, because, that's another thing with business owners starting ads. We're impatient.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We want instant results. And that's not usually the case with email funnels. They take so much testing. We even have to sometimes split test landing pages. And like, if you're talking to a fitness coach who's just starting out versus a fitness coach who's been doing it for 2 or 3 years, you can do different landing pages for that. Like, there's just so much testing. Yeah, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And testing in the ad creative, testing in the copy, you even have to test the headlines, like the little headline underneath. And there's 5 different options. Anyways, it's a lot of testing. But thankfully with AI, we can do it so much faster now. With just all the tools that are available, you're able to just generate copy faster and images faster, and everything is so much faster. What used to take us like weeks now probably takes me and my team like 3 days. It's really nice.
No, and I know that some of you are probably like, AI, right? And like we definitely are going to get into that on this podcast, and I'm excited to kind of dive into that. But when we're thinking about, again, so we've gone over, obviously you need something that's converting, right? You need to be willing to make changes quickly, because I mean, I'm guilty for sure. Like, you record a VSL and you don't want to redo it again, right? You just spent all this time writing this script. And so I know, like, for us, anytime we do a VSL, I've always been given the advice to wear the same thing, make it simple, right? And just be prepared to change little pieces of it. Or same with headlines and landing page. Like you said, split testing. You cannot be emotionally tied to whatever you're creating, because it's not you, right? It's not always you. It just, you don't know what's going to stick, right? I think the hardest thing with ads is like finding the right audience. Like, it takes so long, and dive into that a little bit. Like, what's the time frame? I know it's very subjective, but let's say things are, for the most part, a decent foundation, right? Like, how often until we're really seeing some kind of conversion usually?
So this year is really exciting. The algorithm has changed so much, and they've introduced advanced artificial intelligence, and the algorithm is doing so much of the heavy lifting for us, finding the audiences. So they're even suggesting that we test with the interest audiences, and then we also let the algorithm just know interest. It's killing me as a manager, like, not to type in some interests like fitness coach or something into interest, but they're saying let the algorithm do its thing. And we're converting within a couple days, getting leads. And if you're not converting within 3 days, you got to change that ad. You got to scrap it and change
And
it
again, like you're saying 3 days, like if things are not working in 3 days, and things may not work in 3 days, right? And they usually don't. Like, it's usually not the first try. I mean, if you went and hired Hattie today and said, Hattie, let's go. And you said, okay, you're probably not going to have a sale in 3 days, right?
Correct. We'll probably get email subscribers, but it's really and I think that's, people seem to miss, it's really the email funnel and your other marketing ecosystems that will make the sales. So ads are so great for amplifying your existing message and your existing Instagram page, your existing podcast, your existing freebie and lead magnets, and getting more eyeballs on it. But it's really up to then the sales team. And I know you're great in the DMs. It's really up to your other marketing ecosystems to drive that sale. And that's why that follow-up sequence is so important. It's really hard to convert on ads, just a straight, hey, buy my, $1,000 coaching program. I don't know you at all. I haven't built any trust, and that's what a lot of people do. They run an ad to like $1,000 coaching program. I'm like, you can't, they don't know you. They're not going to, especially in this economic climate, ads right now, I suggest only grow your email list. Bring them into your ecosystem, amplify what's already working.
So let's dive into, we'll start with sales and then move into marketing. So we've mentioned already, like we're trying to amplify what's already working well. Okay. But when we look at the sales part, let's say we're talking to a solopreneur, no sales team, no setter. It's just them and their DMs, or maybe you have one setter. Okay. Nothing crazy, just a small team. Are you prepared for the influx in traffic? Because again, like we've mentioned, I think a lot of these coaches might think if I run ads, that's the saving grace. I'm going to kick ass, because I've got a ton of clients who want to run ads and they're so premature. It's not even about the funding. It's just nothing. It's not going to work for you. Right. And so on the sales front, because, we could run an ad where the first thing they get is a call booking link, or it could be something totally different. Right. So talk to me about that volume preparation and like the actual sales skills that need to be built prior to running ads.
You really have to have your systems on lock. Like if you don't, you're gonna, not only are you wasting money, you're collecting all these leads and then they're just kind of dropping off. You're just leaving them hanging either in an email funnel, which you never even set up, or you've left them in the lead center because you forgot to connect Zapier to Kartra. They're just sitting there, or even like abandoned cart. Oh my gosh, so many people do not have abandoned cart email funnels, or they're not running abandoned cart ads, which is easy, like money on the table. And you're just leaving them hanging by not having all your systems set up, you want to be able to just let them flow through this beautiful work process. And you gotta, if you're a solopreneur, you might be too early unless you're like backgrounds in operations, which mine isn't, but yeah.
So I'm just curious, it's kind of a little tangent, but there's a million different ways to coach out there. And I do want to ask you this question because I've had a handful of clients, a pretty big handful of clients come to me. I call them stray cats, where they come from other coaches and then find me later. Right. And they're already past the FCA level. They're ready for more of the mastermind stuff, but they're spending all this money on ads, like sometimes thousands of dollars a month. And they don't have any of these things that we've talked about set up, but they've been coached that is the answer. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. If that's, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, hey, quit this now. And they're like, no, it's going to work. I'm like, clearly it's not, let's get the money back in our pocket. So I'm just wanting your take on that.
I'd say 50% of my sales calls this year are just me saying, stop running your ads, please, until you get your tripwire set up, your bumps, your upsells. Ads are expensive. Unless you're recouping that ad spend and you have, hey, they download this freebie, then they get sent to a thank you page that has another bump with a low ticket offer on, and then they go down. Unless you have this set up, you're just losing money and you're burning it. So unless you have, your entire ecosystem set up, as well as all your little tripwires and bumps and upsells, and it's all on you do need it kind of on evergreen, especially if you're a solopreneur. You can't be emailing or downloading every single lead that comes in, because they're going to be coming in fast and furious. If you're spending $20 a day, that's at least 20 leads a day. Hopefully if you have a good lead magnet. But so
yeah, no, I mean, you've got to be ready to spend money. And that's the thing with ads. Like, I mean, there is no people ask me like, what's the budget? It's like, I have no idea, right? We really don't know, but be prepared to just throw some stuff out there and see what sticks. But the days of like $5 a day, like, yeah, it's not.
No, it's not realistic. Like it's not. And we always say at least if you're serious about growing your email list, you got to spend 1,500 to 2,000 just starting out per month. So if you don't have, if you're only making $5,000 a month, if that's going to break your business and you can't, no matter, even if you have your conversions set up, even if you have, or not set up, even if you have like everything set up, your lead magnet, your landing page, your email sequence, but you're still only making 5,000 and it's going to break you by spending 2,000 testing, I don't think you should run ads either until
No.
yeah, like you can't break yourself. You still need to make money and take money home and pay the bills.
And not to mention, if you are a solopreneur with no team throwing money at ads, like, how do you know how to run them, right? Don't trust the $500 course that you bought one time without anyone to guide you through it, because there are amazing courses out there. I know you offer a lot of support on running ads, but even still, like, you need a human to at least guide you a little bit of the way or teach you kind of what metrics to track. So, we've already gone over kind of the base, and I'm sure at this point you've already self-identified, all right, check, yes, I can do it, or maybe I should wait, but I'm curious. So when we're looking at running ads and starting this, like, what metrics are we really wanting to look at, and how do we monitor those metrics to see if ads are effective, right? If what we're spending makes sense, what levers we should be looking at to kind of pull differently.
So I always suggest backing Ads Manager, since the new iOS update sometimes doesn't track properly if people opt out of with their iPhone. So back it up on Google Analytics. So I'm sure you guys are always in Google Analytics already, but we're really looking to make sure that your leads are not costing you. If this is a freebie or like an ebook or a quiz, quizzes should be under $2 to take. So what I mean by that is for every email subscriber you get, it should only cost $2 if you have some sort of quiz. Maybe it would cost up to $5 if you're in a really competitive industry per email subscriber, if you're doing like a download. Webinars, live videos, getting someone to show up for a webinar, you're probably going to have to spend $13 per email subscriber. It's a little more expensive, or like a challenge is more expensive to get those people in the seats. Sometimes like PDFs, magazines, checklists, people download those like crazy. So they're cheaper to get cost per lead. We can expect under $5 cost per lead. So that's what you would be looking at the back end. And you also want to look at kind of the click-through rate. So if your click-through rate in Ads Manager is between 2 to 4%, that means people are stopping their scroll, and you have a creative, an ad that, ooh, I stopped, I clicked through, I went to the landing page, and they followed through and they clicked through. So you're really, I look at the click-through rate and how much it actually costs to get that email subscriber onto my list. Because I do not want to spend more than $5, because by the time you take it down, you're not going to make much. But yeah,
So
those are the two main metrics.
So whenever you're looking at this, like, what would you say is a good rate to shoot for? Obviously, you said I'm not spending X dollar, but what is a good target to shoot for somebody that's a beginner running ads? Maybe they have a team obviously helping them. I'm hoping so if you're listening to this, running ads, but just so we have some targets.
I think it's reasonable to, if you have a template that you're running ads to that you want people to download, or you have a PDF, $5 per ad. We've had people who are really niche in like the hormone. Not a lot of people are offering hormones, and they are able to get it. The more niche you go, you can get it down to like $1 a lead. So it varies that way, but definitely if you're spending, if you're spending $6, you might want to go back to the copy, look over the copy, what's missing. You might want to look over the actual conversion rate of the landing page. Are people clicking through? So maybe your click-through rate is between 2 to 4%, but they're clicking through to the landing page and not actually typing in their email address.
So I want to kind of segue into, before we dive into AI, I do want to talk about copy though, because I think part of it is AI. And part of it is just defining your voice, right? So we've mentioned all these things that need to happen. And, aside from just getting results from your clients, if your copy is really generic, because you can use AI and it may be really generic, like you have to understand how to utilize these tools and still make it sound like you and your brand, right? And so aside from a simple answer of use AI, what would you say to coaches who are struggling to kind of articulate their message and really hone in on that?
That's a good question, because copy and creative are the number one things that stop people
Or is it just
from
use AI,
launching that.
right? Like, I don't know your take on that. It might be.
Yeah. So what I do is I usually get people to, in the class that I teach, if they're writing their own copy, write down kind of what you do, um, write a little bit of a story about you so that the AI can know your brand voice and how you speak. And then we'll put that into ChatGPT or another model if you're not using ChatGPT, and we'll ask it, use this brand voice, use this style of writing, but write a Facebook ad copy in the, there's copywriting formulas, the ADA formula, the PAS formula. And so it'll take that brand voice that you've created, or even just take your most popular Instagram post that you wrote, copy and paste it so that ChatGPT has an idea of how you speak. And then it can write this, beautiful Facebook ad, but using the copywriting formulas, it'll get the attention, it'll get the desire, it'll write hooks, it'll do a call to action. So I don't know, AI is changing how we write Facebook ads, because you're able to pump them out so quickly and test them. But you do have to give it your brand voice. Like you said, you can't, it still needs your sparkle. It still needs your personality. It can't be all robots.
Well, and as we're diving into AI and talking about this, because I think that that's one of the issues that I see with some of my clients is I won't push them over to AI until they can master how to type in a prompt correctly that sounds like them, right? Because you and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are typing in very similar things. We're talking about online fitness coaches here, right? We're all searching for really similar stuff.
Yes.
So do you have any skills or tactics that you use? I mean, I know you said write your story down, and I think people automatically assume like rags to riches or something crazy, but any tactics you use on helping your clients get better at that prompt so that AI can deliver better results?
That's a great question. We did this in the first month of our membership, where it was all how to make ChatGPT sound like your brand voice and sound like you. And so usually we would start off with like context, act like a digital marketer who specializes in copywriting. So that's what the AI is going to act like. We would give it the task. Your task is to write a Facebook ad using the ADA formula. Then we're going to give it kind of the writing style. So this is where you have to play around with it first. And we would get it to do introductions. We would say, write in the writing style of playful, upbeat, and the comedian Mindy Kaling, or something like that, with these bullet points. And we would give bullet points of, hey, I'm Hattie Dunstan. I have a daughter named Hazel. I run a Facebook ad strategy. And I would give it bullet points about my business. And I'd say, I helped one Shopify store make $100,000 in 90 days. Like, I'd give it bullet points and say, write in the style of. So that's what I always suggest. You need to open up a chat and just get used to which writing style. Maybe your writing style is like the comedian Jim Gaffigan, or your writing style is like the director Wes Anderson, but giving it certain prompts and a tone, whether it's casual, professional, funny, creative, and mix up the words until ChatGPT starts to sound like you. Or you could even give it, like I said, an Instagram post that you like to start to sound like you. But that's really the only way to make it sound like you, is learning which of the keywords, the tone, which director sounds like you, or which comedian sounds like you, or which author sounds like you. That's how we've been manipulating ChatGPT, even in our social media posts, to sound like us. And you can also give it your Instagram page as a link and say, this is my Instagram page, this is how I sound. Or you can give it pages, an about page on your website, this is how I sound. Create a Facebook ad copy based on this sounding, but write it in the copywriting formula of ADA. So there's certain ways that you can manipulate it by giving it examples. The more information that you can give ChatGPT, the more context, the more it's going to spit out something that sounds like you and that you can use. You're still going to have to edit it though.
You're still going to have to edit it, and you're still going to have
Yeah.
to be really self-aware, right? There's not really a world in which you can say, write me a caption, and it just writes out a caption, right? So
no, and it's going to try to trick you. Like there's a lot of, it's called hallucinate. ChatGPT hallucinates. So really, especially for fitness coaches, if you're asking it, technicalities and certain things for your clients, you really want to fact check that. ChatGPT will lie. So check it yourself, fact checked.
yes, because we don't want you looking stupid. Basically,
Yeah.
doesn't sound like you, like borderline, just it can go very wrong. But obviously, I mean, I'm with you. Like, it's obviously the way that everything is moving. It can be such an effective tool in the hands of the right person who knows how to use it. So when we're talking about creating target audiences, which is obviously always a challenge running ads, you're now using AI for that. So tell me how that's made it so much easier.
I asked ChatGPT, I am creating this ad campaign. It's for, Taylor. She's a fitness coach. And I use these ads, create different, they're called ad sets. If you ask it for target audiences, it won't do it. But so I just ask it, list 5 ad sets that I can use, make sure that they're only targeting the United States. And it will list certain interests and target audiences that I didn't even think of. Like it will list things related to Lululemon and all these different brands. I'm like, I'm not in that world. I didn't think of half of these things, or I don't live in the United States, so I don't know these bigger brands that are in there. I live in Canada. So it is helping with the interest-based audiences so much because it can crawl millions of websites, way more than I can. We used to have to do all this research and try to figure it out. And now we just ask it, could you give us 5 ad sets? I think that the thing that people don't realize about ChatGPT and all these AI things is you still have to know the input. You still need your coach to tell you which KPIs you should be typing into ChatGPT. You still need to know, well, what the heck is a tripwire, to actually put the prompt in. Like you said, you still need to know these prompts to ask it. You need to know the input to get the right output.
Totally. And I was watching you're just looking through your Instagram, and something that stood out, and I'm glad I saw it because I would have totally spaced on asking you this, but I completely forgot you can use AI on Canva now. And I just was like, oh my God, I totally spaced. You were like changing the headband color of yours. And I was like, this is such a great tool. So, can you explain how you're using AI in like the creative?
Yes. I use Canva if Canva has an AI tool where, yeah, like you said, you can change the headband, you can take out plants. If it's too busy of a background, like a lot of our clients are too busy when they're taking pictures, their desks are a mess. Maybe we don't want that in the ad creative. So we can edit everything out. Maybe their bed isn't made. I can use Canva and say, make your bed, make the bed.
That's another topic.
Yeah.
Who's not making their bed? Go make your bed.
If you're a business owner, you should be making your bed. It starts
Yes,
your mind clear.
That's the takeaway from this podcast. Go make your damn bed.
That should be the title. Yeah, so Canva's amazing for being able to edit that way, but there's also if you don't have the time to even do that. So I'm learning ChatGPT and Midjourney, or there's Dolly. So I'm using Midjourney, but again, you have to know the prompt, and I'm giving it specific prompts for the ad creative, and it generates these beautiful AI images for ad creative in seconds. There's also it's like adcreative.ai. If you can't think of creative, stops people. If you can't think of memes or you can't think of creative yourself, go to adcreative.ai. All you have to do is upload yourself as a fitness coach in the gym, and AI will generate hundreds of creative images based on what's performing well that you should probably test. So there's once you're ready to run ads, there should be no more stopping you. Like I would talk to people, a year ago, and they'd be like, okay, I'm ready to run ads, but I don't know how to do the copy. I don't know how to do the creative. You can even ask Facebook ChatGPT how to actually run them. So if you're I guess what I'm saying is if you have your tripwires, your landing page, your converting, your email sequences, there's nothing now stopping you from running Facebook ads as long as everything's set up with the power of AI. That's what I think.
So even with all of these benefits now with AI, let's go back to before that was a thing. Is there anything just in the year of 2023 that it's making it harder to run ads, or anything that's not performing, like, I don't know, compared to 2021, 2022?
I would actually say because there's so much AI, if you really want your ads to convert well, what we're seeing is it's not the images that you create in Canva. It's not the mid-journey. It's videos, it's user-generated videos. So it's your clients talking about it in videos. It's you, your, like, AI cannot replace video connection community. So we're seeing that videos are converting better for, I mean, people have been talking about videos forever, but we used to be able to get away with images and carousel posts, but really videos and user generated videos, someone talking about your program so that other people can see the social proof in a video format is performing everything, because AI can't do that. AI can't be a human and talk about your wonderful program.
Yeah, I mean, video is king right now, and it has been. It's obviously getting to that point, but even if you're trying to grow your Instagram profile, right, or whatever, like, I mean, video and not the trending reels, like self-generated, like you said, like, you know, just talking, closed captions, obviously, but that's, you just have to do it, right? And it's a volume game too, right? So, is there anything else you would share for these, you know, these coaches who might be listening that are wanting to run ads? They've obviously heard all of our tips, but is there anything else you can think of that would set them up on the path to run ads?
I think if you haven't created your lead magnet and you're still in that kind of brainstorming, I would try to think, what can't AI replicate? So some sort of live challenge, live webinar, live video, live workshop, live summit, something that people can show up to live, that you can run ads to, say, hey, come join me live. But really, especially, we're all out of COVID now. We're craving that human connection. So yes, we can download PDFs and download magazines all we want, but really, if I was someone starting out looking for a new lead magnet, I would be thinking about, how can I create a human connection through a live event or something live. Yes, I know we want to turn it evergreen and we just want to push automate, but I think we're going to have to work a little bit harder now, because everyone can access, you know, Amazon exploded with self-published books because ChatGPT, you just wrote it and then you published it to Amazon. So what is something that it's the human connection, it's the community, it's people showing up live, asking the questions live, you answering them live. So kind of think of something like that for your lead magnet, and I think you skyrocket.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do a sequel to this, obviously, for like advanced ads or something fancier. But for now, you all know you need to make your bed and get better at selling. That's what you've learned. I'm just kidding. But, you know, Hattie's got this membership for AI and all of those things. I'm going to link her information in the show notes. You can obviously check her out. Hattie, it's been awesome. You know, I'm obviously biased. I think you're phenomenal at what you do. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
I think that was great. Thanks so much for having me on. And I think just keep working away at your tripwire, your bumps, and your upsells, and then when you're ready to scale that, they'll be off to the races. But
and don't stress about perfecting your email sequences, right? Like, just get them out there.
Yeah, because they're going to be on your regular email list. So if you're doing a good job and you're regularly emailing them anyways, they're going to convert. So
exactly. Awesome. Thanks, Hattie.